First at 4, criminal charges handed down in the city of Flint as a result of the Flint water crisis. I'm Karen Drew, live in Flint. I'll have more.
It has to do with human decency, resurrecting the complete abandonment of the people of Flint, and finally holding people accountable.
I'll be live with Hank Winchester.
All right, thank you, Karen. We are also following impeachment fallout. We're going to show you what happens next now that President Trump has been impeached for a second time. Plus, Ben's in the weather office. Hey, Ben.
Hey, Sandra. We are finishing with the 40s, and then we are finished with the 40s. Cooler air, rain, and snow all coming our way as the weekend approaches. We'll run it down all for you right now. First at 4.
Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit. Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sandra Ali, along with Karen Drew, who's reporting live in Flint this afternoon. Karen?
Good afternoon, Sandra. It has been a very busy and a historic day in the city of Flint. As we were standing outside of the Genesee County Jail, some residents came up to us and basically said, wow, we are seeing justice. Someone is being held accountable. This is a story that has been woven through this community over the course of many years, starting with who made what decisions, when did they make them, and what did they know. In the end, 41 charges have been handed down. 9 people face those charges. Let's take a look. 9 people now facing criminal charges connected to their actions or inaction in connection to the Flint water crisis. The former governor is charged with 2 counts of willful neglect of duty, each a misdemeanor with up to 1 year in prison. The most serious charges of involuntary manslaughter are against Nicholas Lyon and Eden Well, who both worked at the Department of Health and Human Services. Lyon and Wells face 9 counts each with each count a 15-year felony. Now, prosecutors say it's part of a sweeping effort to hold someone accountable for what happened to the people of Flint.
It has to do with human decency, resurrecting the complete abandonment of the people of Flint, and finally holding people accountable for their alleged unspeakable atrocities that occurred in Flint all these years ago.
And with that message, 9 former state and city officials were charged in the Flint water crisis.
People of the state of Michigan versus Richard Dale Snyder.
The most high-profile, former governor Rick Snyder, who faces 2 charges of willful neglect of duty, facing a 1-year prison sentence and up to a $1,000 fine. In a statement from the governor's attorney, he said the 2 misdemeanor charges filed today against former Governor Rick Snyder are wholly without merit, and this entire situation is puzzling.
When an entire city is victimized by the negligence and indifference of those in power, it deserves an uncompromising investigation.
Meantime, prosecutors say Jared Agan, the former chief of staff, faced charges stemming from giving false statements under oath. He faces a perjury count. Also charged, Gerald Ambrose, the former City of Flint emergency manager. Howard Croft, the former director of the City of Flint Department of Public Works. Darnell Early, the former Flint emergency manager. Nancy Peeler, a current early childhood health section manager, was also charged. And Eden Wells, the former chief medical executive. She is facing 9 counts of involuntary manslaughter, among other charges.
Pure and simple, this case is about justice, truth, accountability, poisoned children, lost lives, shattered families that are still not whole, and simply giving a damn about all of humanity.
So the question is, how strong of a case does the state have? Well, the state feels that they have spent years collecting this evidence through dozens of search warrants. They say they have millions of documents and basically said no one was targeted unfairly. No one got a free pass. They feel strong about this case and are ready to move on. Now, coming up at 5, I'll talk a little bit about what some of the defendants are saying about these charges. They think it's a little bit more of a political move and don't feel like the evidence is that strong. But let's step away right now from the evidence, from the defendants, and get to the real story. The people here in Flint. I'd like to send it over to Hank Winchester. I know you have spent years coming up here, meeting these families, seeing what they have been going through. And today is a little bit of justice, but I know much more needs to be done.
Yeah, Karen, absolutely. You are 100% right. I mean, here's the reality. The people of Flint, they are still struggling. Many people still dealing with water issues and health-related problems as a result of this crisis that took place and was exposed about 6 years ago. We've been talking with many people in the community today. In fact, one person we wanted to reach out to and get her reaction, the former mayor of Flint, Karen Weaver. You may remember she was mayor when this crisis was exposed and had to work very closely with then Governor Rick Snyder. I got her reaction on his charges today. Here's what she had.
You know, this has taken so long, and we've been waiting for accountability. It's a step, but it wasn't what we expected. We really expected the former governor to be hit much harder and to be held accountable in his role.
Back out here live, and you hear that from a lot of people today. They are happy, as you mentioned, Karen, that there is now justice so many years after this problem was first exposed, but they're also concerned and questioning some of the charges that were handed down today, specifically the charges that Rick Snyder is now facing. Some say that Nessel, Worthy, and the prosecution team just simply did not go far enough. We're live here tonight in Flint. Karen, back to you.
Hank, and I know you've been talking to a lot of the families today, and we did hear that reoccurring theme. People were happy there was progress made, but not necessarily satisfied. I assume that's what many people are echoing?
Karen, what I'm hearing is that people are glad that these charges came down, but the people that I've talked to really felt like the charges against the governor were a slap on the wrist. And Karen Weaver herself was hoping for a manslaughter charge, and I don't think she's alone. You're going to hear much more from Karen Weaver and also the key players here in the city of Flint starting at 5 o'clock. Back to you.
All right, we look forward to that, Hank. We appreciate that report. And of course, I'll be back at 5 with more on these developments here in Flint, getting reaction from some of the defendants as our continuing coverage does continue. Meantime, we're going to send it back to the studio to you, Sandra.
All right, thank you so much, Karen. We are now going to check in with some of our other top stories. In other news today, Washtenaw County's new prosecutor making another big policy change, this time dealing with prostitution. He now says going forward, his office will no longer pursue any charges related solely to consensual sex work. However, he did make it clear his office will prosecute human trafficking, sex assault, and any offenses involving any children. Since taking office January 1st, he's scrapped cash bail and says he will not prosecute minor drug offenses. Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan just announcing the city is ready to expand who's now eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine. He says this is another step forward and another step toward returning to a sense of normalcy.
We are going to get our city back by dealing with this one vaccination at a time. And so that's where we're going to go. When we get through this next wave, we'll come back and we will lower the age group again.
So at this point, vaccines will now be offered to Detroit residents over 70, postal workers, and city employees working from their regular job site. An appointment is needed. We've posted all the contact information for you at clickondetroit.com. Meantime, today, drug company Johnson & Johnson reporting some encouraging early results from the vaccine it's working on. This is a single-shot vaccine that looks safe and effective, with phase 3 results expected in the next few weeks. Plus, also the state of Michigan reporting more than 2,600 new cases of the virus in the past 24 hours, along with 139 additional deaths, including 107 from a vital records review. Developing this afternoon, the Detroit Lions announcing the hiring of Brad Holmes as their new executive vice president and general manager. Holmes joining the Lions after spending the last 18 seasons with the LA Rams. And for the last 8 seasons, he was in charge of the Rams' college scouting operations. Holmes replaces Bob Quinn, who was fired with head coach Matt Patricia last year. The team is still interviewing head coach candidates. Now let's go ahead and move on to the first forecast. You know, many of us love that winter warm up over the past 2 days, but I think it sounds like it's coming to an end. Let's get out to Ben Bailey. And Ben, what's next?
Well, cold and rain and snow eventually, Sandra. But yeah, this is it for the 40s and just a little bit cooler today than what we saw yesterday. We're at 42 So not quite the 45 that we were staring at yesterday afternoon. Only a couple degrees cooler. Some spots were actually warmer. Adrian, Pontiac, Flint, all just a little bit milder than yesterday. There's the first part of the rain that's going to be here very late tonight, most likely tomorrow. And then that's going to start at sort of a cascade of weather impacts that would go forward into the weekend. So we've got rain, we've got snow, we've got wind, and we've got colder temperatures all over the next 4 days. We'll talk about how much of that is going to impact your weekend in just a few minutes. Sandra?
All right, thank you, Ben. Just 24 hours ago, the House of Representatives was taking the historic vote to impeach President Trump for a second time. Republican Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says the earliest the Senate will get to work on a trial is next Tuesday. That's the day before President Trump leaves office. It takes a 2/3 majority to convict in the Senate, which means 17 Republicans would have to cross party lines. With a possible conviction hanging over his head, the president knows every move he makes will now be scrutinized. Last night, he released a new video directed to his supporters.
No true supporter of mine could ever endorse political violence. No true supporter of mine could ever disrespect law enforcement or our great American flag. No true supporter of mine could ever threaten or harass their fellow Americans.
Now, the future actions of the president and his supporters could very well affect how senators vote on conviction. Democrats are hoping to prevent Mr. Trump from ever holding federal office again. Still ahead here at 4, it is really hard to avoid lottery fever with 2 jackpots totaling more than $1 billion. We're going to show you why a lot of people in Southeast Michigan are checking their tickets today. Also, new privacy protection on a very popular video app, what teenagers and their parents need to know. But first, here's Paula.
Come with me. If you're a woman looking for job security and new challenges, I'm going to take you on location with a company that is looking for you.